I've always maintained that there are certain physical traits in guys that naturally carry an aesthetic that communicates power. Cauliflower ears, big broad shoulders, a wide back, big forearms, and lastly, a thick neck. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite neck building exercises, along with my go-to neck training device for adding thickness and strength so that you gain that powerful look while also improving the functionality of this often overlooked part of your anatomy. Now, to start with, before we get into the workout that helps build the thickness, the strength, and the size and muscularity in your neck that you're looking for, we need to first discuss the main function and movements the musculature of the neck is responsible for. And to be clear, we'll be discussing the more superficial muscles that you see instead of the deeper muscles that you don't. Okay, so let's talk about the main movements that your neck is mainly responsible for. There's flexion right here, which hits primarily the sternocleidomastoid, the long anterior muscles that run from the sternum and the clavicle and diagonally to the mastoid area behind the ear, hence its name, sternocleidomastoid. Extension, which hits the top portion of your traps, and then rotation and lateral flexion, which hit the scalenes that lie between your sternocleidomastoid and trapezius, right around here. And as long as we're discussing building a bigger and stronger neck, there's also what's called the levator scapulae, which co-contracts with the traps during elevation of the scapula, aka the shrug. Now, on top of those main movements and the main exercises that you'll utilize given an understanding of those movements, you also have protraction and retraction of the head. But because we won't really do any resistance-based training with those movements, we won't go further into those. Okay, so now that we know the main function and movements that your neck's anterior and posterior muscles are responsible for, let's now discuss the best way to increase strength and size within each of them. It's pretty simple. Find a safe and effective way to add resistance while going through the movements that we just discussed. It's just that easy. It's pretty much the same with all muscles that we're trying to build size and strength in. And the best device I've found for that is what is called the Iron Neck harness. Now, this simple tool may make you look and feel ridiculous when you're doing it, and if you do feel self-conscious about it, then you can always just do them at home, in the bathroom. But the fact is, it delivers big results when utilized properly. And for me, my favorite way to do so as safely and efficiently as possible is by using manual resistance with the straps it includes instead of external load like barbell plates. Reason being, I get to control the level of resistance at all points in the set, and when, let's say, fatigue starts to set in midway through the set, I can let off the resistance while continuing to stress the musculature that's being worked without concern of tweaking a very sensitive area of your body. Remember, a large function of your neck is to help stabilize and provide support for your cervical spine. So I don't think it's too wise to mess around with heavy weights that could tweak you or, worst case scenario, paralyze your ass. So yeah, manual resistance for the win. Now, let me share with you a glimpse of the routine I like to go through with this bad boy. To begin with, make sure that you've got the harness centered up, lateral Velcro straps tightened up to prevent sliding around on your head when going through all the movements, and chin strap loose but secured so you don't choke yourself out during flexion-based exercise. When it's secured in place, you'll then feed the straps through the front 3 loops to help kick off the first 2 movements that you'll do, extension and rotation of the neck. Now, when it comes to neck training, I'm a big fan of volume. So what I like to do is stick to 2 to 3 rounds of 15 to 20 reps of each of the movements that we discussed. And to kick things off, what we're gonna do is start with extension work which really hits the upper portion of your traps on the posterior side of your neck. When doing these, I like standing up and keeping my arms extended out in front of me for more comfort and to better control the resistance, which, by the way, after a few reps with a full range of motion, you'll figure out quickly what's the best amount to offer. After each set, I'll rest about a minute, then repeat for either 2 or 3 sets total. Then, after that, I'll keep the straps in the same position, bring my arms forward, and do side-to-side rotations. These won't require much, and you won't want much resistance. So go slow and go light with these, and allow the friction of the straps running across the harness loops while rotating to really provide the tension you need when doing them. Again, I'll rest a minute after about 10 to 15 rotations per side, repeat for 2 to 3 total sets, then I'll move into the next movement, which is lateral flexion. To do these, I'll take the strap off and feed it through the lower lateral ring and then hold the strap in the same position I'd be in at the top of a dumbbell hammer curl. These two require very little resistance, so go slow and go light. With this lateral flexion neck work, what I like to do is after one set on one side, I immediately take the strap off and do the other side before resting in between sets. After 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 or 20 reps per side, I then cap off the iron necks work with some neck flexion work. For these, which hit your anterior located sternocleidomastoid hard, you'll take the strap off and feed it through the single loop located at the back of the harness, let the straps drop down towards the base of your lower back, then simply grab both ends with one hand and start the flexion-based exercise. Like the extension-based movement that hits the upper portion of the traps, you can provide a little more resistance with these because they're run by bigger and stronger muscles than the scalenes that are responsible for rotation and lateral flexion. So don't be afraid to give a little more in the resistance department when doing these. Just feel it out and go with what feels good for you. So after 15 to 20 reps of these flexion-based neck exercises, we'll rest about a minute between sets and do 2 to 3 total. And afterwards, I'll typically cap things off with the 5th and final movement I use for a bigger neck, which is the trusted farmer's walk. Again, you might not think of these when it comes to building a bigger neck, but remember, the upper portion of your traps, as well as your levator scapulae that help elevate your shoulder blade, will be developed during these. So after hitting a few sets of extension, rotation, lateral flexion, and neck flexion based work with the iron neck harness, cap it all off with a few sets of heavy farmer's walks till failure, also known as carrying heavy dumbbells or kettlebells until you can't and they drop. Perform this routine a few times a week, and I promise your neck size as well as your upper back size will go up substantially in a matter of just a few short months. Ultimately, helping you avoid being a pencil neck, being an absolute nightmare for any tailor, and functionally having a more sturdy cervical spine region that's more resistant to the possibility of a trauma that could lead to paralysis in really bad cases. And one last thing, if you want to grab one of these killer iron neck harnesses for yourself, just click on the pin link at the top of the comment section down below, and I'll take you directly to the page which allows you to hook yourself up with one. Hey guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and want more, then do me a solid by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing, and hitting the alert icon so you get notified the instant I drop new videos here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're looking for a more in-depth view of exactly how I program for all of my clients who are short on time yet hungry for some serious results as they age, then start by grabbing your free copy of the Kettlebell Cardio Blueprint that I put together for you by clicking on either the book image that you see right over there to the right or the pin link at the top of the comment section down below. This free guide has a week's worth of my sub 10-minute home workouts, my top 10 rules for losing fat without losing size or strength, and my plug and chug workout builder to help you design fast and effective routines from the comforts of your home. So to grab it for free, Just click over there or down there and I'll take you directly to the free download page, which allows you to put it to use today. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. MANdler out.